Hello, everyone. I'm back again. I got something I want to talk about. It's something that's going on currently, and it's been going on for about a year and a half. This thing we've got about Trump, our president. You can say what you want. You can hate his guts. I really don't care. And I want to put it to rest right now. I'm no fan. Okay, I was never a fan of this guy. Honestly, I wasn't. I didn't vote for him. I voted for myself because I personally think I could do a better job than most of the politicians out there. Most politicians are nothing more than, you show me a politician that's ever worked a day in his life, and I tell you what, it's a rarity, okay? Most of these guys are out there for themselves. Bottom line, that's it. Most of them go in poor, come out rich. You tell me why they're there. They're there for me? I don't think so. I don't think so. That goes from your current one, your local one, all the way to the top, okay? They're politicians. They're career politicians. That's how it works. That's what these guys do. Never worked a hard day in their life. Uh, Great speakers, able to talk to people, make them feel important. Act like you're going to do something about what they're concerned about, and then not do a thing when you get back, and then be able to defend it when you come home. It's amazing. Uh, we've got one here in Missouri, in our flyover country, Claire McCaskill, for the fight of her life this year in the midterms. And I think she's going to lose. Uh, the state went totally red. Well, not totally red, but I mean, Trump won it, which leads you to believe that most people are, I mean, they're looking at it a little differently than they used to. She's a Democrat. She hitched her wagon to the wrong star. She was behind Hillary Clinton 100%. And that's a completely different story that I want to talk about at some time. But at the end of the day, here's what I want to say. Getting back to Trump, I didn't like the guy. Didn't like him on The Apprentice. I didn't like the guy anyway. Even before that, he was arrogant. He's a loudmouth. He's a jerk. You've met him. Bombastic, self-absorbed jerk for the most part. That's what he was. He was he was just not. I shouldn't say evil because that's not true. I heard that the other day. A friend of mine mentioned that he was talking to my next door neighbor, and he's a friend of mine. His mother lives next door to me, and she's a very sweet lady in her 90s, very smart, still sharp as a tack, knows what's going on. She said, I won't use his name, but I asked him the other day about what he thought about Trump, and he said, Trump's evil. Trump's evil? Evil? What's that got to do with it? Evil? I don't think so. A jerk, maybe? A womanizing, self-absorbed dick, maybe. But evil, I don't think so. I don't think so. He's been very consistent. I've seen interviews that he's done 20 years ago. He's stayed right on track. He hasn't moved 1 ounce. He says, and I agree with this. Like I said, I didn't vote for him. I think his foreign policy is insane. It's crazy. It's schizophrenic. It's it's childish what he's doing. Now, having said that, North Korea, South Korea, fantastic what he's doing. Fantastic. He's going to end a war that's been going on for 40 years, 40 or 50 years. Well, no, 60 years. 60 years. He's going to end a war. I believe he is. They're going to denuclearize. He's going to go down in history as probably one of the best presidents we've ever had as far as accomplishing things. Now, he's got this big investigation. It's supposed to be Russian influence in the election and so forth. Now, was there Russian influence in the election? I don't know. I don't think so. Barack Obama stood up there months before the election after Trump had said, "Hey, it could be a fixed election." Barack Obama says, "Fixed election? What's this guy talking about? You can't fix an election. It's all done by counties and states and different factors that go into it to prevent that from happening." Okay, so which is it? Either we had Russian influence or we didn't. And Barack Obama, the president of the United States, a couple months before, saying it can't be done. Okay, so I don't believe a word of this. I think if there was some Russian influence, so far the Mueller investigation is dug up that Manafort laundered some money 10 years ago, long before he knew Trump, and there were a half a dozen or a dozen Russians operating somewhere that took out Facebook ads, and they got some of the money from the Kremlin. Now, I know everybody likes Facebook. Don't get me wrong. But if you think ads on a Facebook, when's the last time you looked at an ad on a Facebook page? Seriously, think about it. When's the last time you ever paid any attention to an ad on a Facebook page? I don't. I dismiss those like I do clickbait on the internet. Pop-ups. Come on. Really? You think that influenced the election? I don't think so. Okay? So we indicted those guys, people that you're never going to be able to bring to justice because they're beyond reproach. You can't extradite them. Okay? I think some of them did show up. So discovery is going to be fun to see what they find out. But we'll never hear about any of that. But the only guy we've got so far is Manafort, and everything he did was prior to the election. So it's stupid. But back to Trump. Again, I didn't vote for him. I did not like Hillary Clinton. Come on, that's completely another story there. You want to use the words evil? Okay, we might be able to throw that around in her presence. Same thing with Bill. He's a predator. We know that. But they're talking about impeachment. They're talking about this. They're talking about that. Well, and all the time, the whole time they're doing this, Trump's talking about making America great again. And I know if you're left leaning, you hate that, and I don't blame you because your person didn't win. I understand that, but at the end of the day, we have to get over this. But if you look back at the interviews that he did with NBC, ABC, I think he did one with PBS with Charlie Rose. He's been on several things. Back then, he was a genius. Everybody wanted to talk to him. Everybody wanted him on their show. Everybody. And he talked about foreign policy. He talked about the economy. He said things that I really believe in. And I still to this day believe this. You have to have an economy, especially in this day and age. You have to have manufacturing. You cannot send it to China and Mexico. You can't do it. NAFTA, we got screwed on NAFTA. We did. We've been getting screwed by the Chinese for 50 years. They steal our technological and our intellectual properties. They go out, they copy them. They steal everything. They're terrible. You want to talk about evil as far as that goes? That communist country. Don't get me started. That's not a communist country. That's about as capitalistic as it gets. They're totalitarian. They beat their people down. But communists, no, that's not it. Because they don't share with the people. That's for sure. But those are the guys you got to watch. And he said that back in the 90s. I saw an interview with him. He was doing it with Leslie Stahl, I think it was, or I can't remember, one of those gals. And he was very straightforward about it. He said, you need jobs in this country. You need to have jobs. And I agree with that. And here's what I've always said. And I've been saying it for years, you need jobs that, let's just take, for example, a male, a guy, a kid, a boy in high school, okay? Not going to college. Family can't afford it. Okay, so he gets out of college. He's going to high school. He gets out of school. He needs a job that he can go to, that he can start when he gets out of school. He needs a job that he can go to and be there for 30 years. That's what he needs. He needs a manufacturing job, an ability to make a living, a good living, not one where you're suffering and you're struggling every day, worried about whether or not your rent's going to get paid. I'm talking about a job that pays you very well. Not exorbitant amounts of money, but enough, a living wage, so that you can have 2.3 children. You can have a house. You can have 2 cars. Maybe one of your kids gets to go to college. Something like that. Something you can retire on. Something you can depend on. That's what you need. That's what this country needs. It doesn't have that. We've sent it all to China and Mexico, and we've drilled it into our head that we're going to be a service-oriented country. That's ridiculous. Yes, of course we need services. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, you need a job for a guy, an uneducated or upper educated individual like myself, high school graduate. When I got out of school, I needed a job I could go to and I could work there for 30 years or 35 years and retire. That's what I needed. That's what this country needs. And with that comes all the extended jobs, all the economy that surrounds that job. And that's where this all comes from. And he's been saying that for years. And at the end of the day, that's all I'm interested in. The foreign policy and all that, schizophrenic, yes, absolutely. Crazy at times. But he has been consistent about that too. He was consistent about it in this interview in '94 or whatever it was. He was talking about North Korea. He was talking about China. He was talking about trade. All of that. He was spot on. And here's what kills me. People call him evil. They do that, and they have no basis on that. Is he a womanizer? Is he cheating on his wife? Absolutely. I'm not endorsing that by any stretch of the imagination. That's wrong. That's between him and his wife. Okay. You bring in a stripper, a porn star. That's supposed to be your big. That's how you're going to take him down. That's ridiculous. Most people in this country don't care. They don't care about this. They literally don't. If I talk to 20 people out there on the street, and I walked up to them and asked them what was the most important thing in their life right now, making the rent, being able to keep a job. That's what they're interested in. And guess what? We're getting more of them back. Unemployment's at an all-time low. And I know it's a fixed system, and they don't count people that aren't looking for jobs. I understand that. But at the end of the day, there are more people employed now than before he became president. So you tell me who's doing what they said they were going to do. Okay? Again, I didn't vote for him. I want to make sure that's clear. I did not vote for this guy. Okay? But hating him and wanting him to fail, that is psychotic in my opinion. You can run against him. You can get a better guy in there. I have no problem with that. But trying to take this guy down and making him fail, that is the equivalent of getting on an airplane, a jet, to fly to Vegas or something, and hoping that the plane crashes just to make the pilot look bad. That's what you're doing. So I'm gonna suffer as well. You know, the people that come out there. Bill Maher said it the other day. He hopes there's an economic downturn, so it brings down Trump. Of course he does. He's got his money. He doesn't care about you. He's like the average politician. Average politician doesn't know what you or I have for lunch. But they don't care. They couldn't care less. They couldn't care less if they tried. And that goes for Republican or Democrat. They're all the same. They're all the same. It's two sides of the same coin. It's the NFL, it's AFC, NFC. It's American League, National League. It's the same thing. These people are bought and sold by the very same people that own everything. They own the media. That's why you have to go somewhere else. You can't go to NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox especially now. They've gone. They're horrible. They're horrible. At least at some point they bumped up against the subjects. They never really climbed the mountain, but they bumped up against it. They don't even do that anymore. They're worried about the 20 things in your bathroom that can kill you. I mean, that's the kind of stories they're doing. It's ridiculous. This whole country is in a tailspin when it comes to just use your head. Use your head. You don't have to like Trump. I don't like Trump. I didn't vote for him, but I want him to succeed. I really do. Because if he succeeds, my life either gets better or stays the same. That's what I want. And I think that's what most people want. But there again, I could be wrong, but that's the way I see it. And we'll talk about this more as we go along because Trump is this is one of the most fascinating times to be alive, to see the way that things work. They're talking about this blue wave that's going to take over in the midterms. I think that's ridiculous. Really? You think that? Okay. Yeah, well, these are the same people that told me in 2016 that Hillary Clinton had a 99% chance of winning. So, you do the math. It's coming from these people that don't know what they're talking about, and they skew these polls they take. I mean, you ask 20 people. You take 20 people. You're gonna do a survey with these 20 people. 18 of them are Democrats, 2 are Republicans. Okay, you go through this list. You ask them all the same questions. I'll bet you're going to come out with a poll that shows the Democrats are going to win. Now, why would that be? Because you had more people. You had more Democrats in the group. Of course, they're going to. So that's how they do it. So anyway, that's all for today on that subject. And like I said, this is on. I have a podcast as well as a YouTube. This YouTube channel, and whatever you're listening on to it, I appreciate it. It's on a lot of formats on the podcast side, and YouTube is right here. Like this video and subscribe if you like. And always remember, and I'll be the first one to say it about myself, sure, I'm crazy, but what if I'm right? So we're trucking through life, and you have a good day.